Lie still and break, for a dream's sake. Chapter 4. Author's Note. Brace yourselves. Podficer's Note. As this fic deals with heavy topics, please make sure you've read the content warnings which I've listed in the description below before proceeding. Take care of yourselves. Did I do well, Sensei? Was it perhaps too much? This time, they're in Shota's room. Midoriya is perched on the chair Hisashi abandoned some hours ago when nurses shooed him away, while Shota is sitting cross-legged next to where his body's resting, his back turned to his comatose self. Looking at himself too long is still disturbing. They're nearing the 70-hour mark since Shota woke to the in-between, and both of them are willfully pretending they don't know what that means. I wasn't sure you wanted to hear about costumes, so I didn't mention them at all, but of course hero gear is a great compliment to any hero's quirk. Shota stares dumbfounded at Midoriya. As part of their teaching agreement, he'd given the kid a challenge, to give him the strength and weaknesses of present Mike's quirk. He hadn't expected to see Midoriya's face light up from the inside, or to be treated to a half-hour monologuing dissection of his best friend's quirk. The level of detail the kid has given was remarkable. Sure, there was a lot of guesswork, but all of his theories were based on stated assumptions. It would have been an impressive bit of analytical work for a third-year general education UA student. Considering Midoriya's 15, has no access to research materials, and was relying solely on his memory, it's impressive. Hell, it's insane. Shota finally finds his voice. I take it you used to do analysis in your spare time? Oh, I don't know that I'd call it analysis, but it was just a hobby, really. Shota grunts. Did you ever write those out? Yes, I kept notebooks. Notebooks? Plural? Shota's eyebrows twitch. If he'd known that 3 days earlier. How many? 13? 13? Yes? Midoriya's twisting his hands. Why the nervous tick? Damn, kid. He runs a hand through his long hair. Strange that it won't be long when he wakes up. So, you'd watch videos of hero fights, and you'd try to guess their quirk and their limits? That right? And the villains, yes. Midoriya bows his head for no logical reason. Why is he ashamed of this? That kid has no confidence. Shota frowns. There's something there, something he's missed. It eludes him. Kid. Shota leans forward, tries to catch Midoriya's eyes through green curls. He gives a brief sigh when he fails. You know there's a whole profession out there which is basically that? Midoriya's head shoots up. There is? Yes. Your teachers knew about your analysis? No way was Shota gonna call this a hobby. 13 notebooks worth of anything puts you right into the semi-pro category. Yes, they knew. They said I shouldn't do it. It made my comrades uncomfortable. Midoriya's eyes cut to the side. I know it's creepy. Shota growls in frustration. It's not. Well, some may find it invasive, but it's not like you stalked anyone, right? No, I just took the opportunity when they used their quirk near me. By now, Shota has picked up that Midoriya, sweet, intelligent, kind Midoriya, has never received much encouragement during his schooling. But this is another level. All this time, Midoriya, you were honing a skill that is necessary for any hero, and one that most heroes lack. Such a waste. Shota shakes his head, a huff of frustration on his lips. What were your goddamn school counselors thinking? I didn't really have... And in the space between a moment and the next, the machines come alive, loud and blaring. Shota jumps to his feet and whirls around, looking for a threat. But the threat isn't out there. It's inside him, inside his body. Midoriya shoots out of the chair and gently but firmly tugs him to a corner of the room as doctors and nurses rush in. What's going on? Shota whispers as doctors yell jargon at each other. Am I dying? You're not dying, Sensei. I'm not sure, but I think... And the kid is narrowly focused on the medical professionals. There's a brain bleed. It's what they were afraid of, but they've been monitoring, right, so they've caught it in time. I think you may need surgery? Brain surgery. Shota's heart plummets inside his chest. For the first time, he wishes he wasn't awake for this. A hand wraps around his forearm, solidifying him, grounding him, as much as a ghost can be. Midoriya looks into his eyes, his expression a mix of badly hidden worry and stony determination. You're going to be okay, Aizawa-san. They're whirling his body away now, and Shota feels compelled to follow. Midoriya stays just a step behind, and surely he doesn't mean for Shota to hear what he mutters next, but he does all the same. You're not dying. You can't be. Shota takes a deep breath, gently grasps Midoriya's hand, and heads to the OR. Midoriya keeps a running mumble through the surgery, from the surgeons scrubbing in to the anesthesiologist putting Shota well under, from clarifying what a burr hole procedure is to explaining what the rods in Shota's fucking brain are for. It lasts for some time, during which Shota just listens and watches silently with a death grip on Midoriya's hand. He's no expert, but he thinks it doesn't look good right now. The nurse has just hung up a bag for blood transfusion, and the neurosurgeon's hands are steady and fast, but her tone is alarmed. Shota slings an arm across Midoriya's shoulders, squeezing him into his side. The boy melts at the contact and his eyes fill up with tears. The mumble slows to a stop. Shota clears his throat and finally speaks. It's okay, Midoriya. He's still a hero. Until his dying breath, Shota's a hero, and heroes don't leave distraught boys to bear their burdens on their own. Softly, he repeats, It's okay. I've had a good run of it, you know. And if I die, going out having saved kids, it's the best death a hero can hope for, really. Midoriya turns his face into Shota's flank. Aizawa-san, I don't want you to die. Neither do I, kid. But I don't think that's up to either of us. His eyes haven't left the OR, so he senses more than he sees the sudden stillness that takes over the boy. Midoriya? Shota looks down. Midoriya is staring at his own small, scarred hands. I don't... Maybe... There's something... The kid's whisper barely reaches his ears. The machine's staccato intervals are closer together now, nearly blaring continuously, and Shota doesn't need to be a doctor or hear his surgeon swear to know that the flatline is coming. Shota's scared. He can't pretend that he isn't, but more than anything he doesn't want to leave Midoriya alone. So it breaks his heart when Midoriya tears himself from his side. What? Wait, kid! Shota reaches out, but a piercing pain through his chest bends him in half, and it's through dark spots in his vision that he sees Midoriya cross the OR, through the nurses and the doctors, and come to stand by the body. He puts a hand on Shota's arm, like he's done many times before on Shota's ghost form, to steer him and ground him and connect. Midoriya looks up at him, and Shota doesn't hear, but reads on his lips. You'll be okay, Aizawa-san. Midoriya's smile isn't bright. It's wobbly and brave and terrifying, because in the next moment light flashes and surrounds Midoriya, colors him in. Were his eyes ever so green? And the light pours from the kid's hand into Shota's body. The machines give a startle and a whine. The staccato slows into distinct sounds once more. And the light steals all the colors from Midoriya, whose eyes go from green to gray to silver as his form loses substance. Suddenly, Shota feels more corporeal. The pain in his chest is gone. His eyes see clearly. No! No! Finally! The surgeon exclaims. Got the damn bleed! She gives a little laugh, mops at her face with the back of her gloved wrist. Shota finds his legs, dives through the OR wall. The surgeon glances at Shota's body, unaware of her patient's desperate lunge a few inches and a world away. Man, this one's got an angel on his shoulder. Shota reaches for Midoriya's translucent form, barely a shape anymore, just a trick of the light, a shimmer of air on a hot summer day. No, no, God, please, no! Shota's fingers go through. There's nothing left to grasp. Midoriya fades. End of chapter 4.